I realized I wanted to be a cinematographer in a very odd moment. I wanted to get into film, but I didn't know what a DP was. I knew camera was interesting to me, but I didn't know what it was exactly. One day the camera operator was on a crane. It looked like he was doing a movement in the air. And when I saw this, I thought it was such a magical thing, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. My name is Frida Marzouk. I'm a cinematographer. I am originally from Tunisia. I grew up in France and living in New York. I put myself on the rhythm of the director. Some directors like to start very early on to talk about things and start sending references and even storyboards. And others are more casual and just want to have a relationship and just talk and kind of build a friendship and then work together that way. I worked on a project that the director had every single shot, actually like the editing done in advance. And it was actually okay. So we went from there, and from there I can offer a type of lighting, I can offer a type of camera, because he was not technical in those terms. And the other film that I did that was in Cannes this year, it was the opposite. Like, the director didn't have specifics about cameras or lighting or how we're going to shoot it, but she had specifics about the theme and what she wanted to have at the end. It was a movie with real people, not actors, so she wanted to focus on emotion, storytelling, scenes, improvisation, so she didn't have to focus on the camera part. She's a documentarian originally, so she just, like, we shared the work. I did the camera and the lighting work, and she focused on the story and the actors. When you don't know what's going to happen and you're a camera operator, it was handheld, you have to follow your intuition and study the people, like the person themselves, how they move, how they talk, how they, you know, some people are more like, they move a lot, some people are very static, and you kind of learn how to anticipate the movements and who is going to talk. For the project that I've done, it was low-budget independent films. So you start wondering, what can you afford and what's available, mostly. But the good thing is that, like, for the two movies that I mentioned, it was done in Tunisia. And we have limited equipment, but we have some good equipment. Like, we have sets of lenses that you can find. We have a lot of Arri minis, just one LF. And so you hope that you can get your hands on some of those equipment and be able to shoot with minimal lighting. And what I try to do is that if I don't have money for lighting or grip, at least I want to have good lenses and a good camera. So I try to, whatever the project is, I insist on having at least a camera and good lenses. The one in Cannes, it was Arri Mini and Ultra Primes. Those were the lenses that had the most f-stop that I could get at that rental house. For the second film that I mentioned, it's actually the ZEISS Supreme, and it was luxurious because it was a 1.5. We had a lot of nights in this film, this Palestinian film. We have big spaces. We had a big school to shoot at night. And I didn't have enough lighting equipment. So unfortunately we don't have balloons or anything like this. So what I try to find is the lens that opened the most, which in that time in Tunisia was the ZEISS Supreme. And I figured, okay, if I can have that and an Arri, I should be able, with a few 5Ks and, you know, a couple of lights, I can make it work. I really like how gentle the lens was. As soon as you put it on the camera, it felt like everything seems to be soft and warm. And I really like how the skin tones came out with that lens. So when I tested it on my AC, I felt like the skin was much more beautiful in the camera. So I'm preparing for a documentary in Sudan. We were supposed to shoot now, but the situation is a bit stressful, so we're waiting a bit for that. And then I'm prepping for a feature film beginning of next year with a director from New York. And it's about the Sahrawi issue in Morocco and Spain.